Here's the one I've just been actively avoiding as long as possible. Where the dipstick tube goes in this thing, that's called a cam cover because it covers the cam. It's like a valve cover. And it's been this loose the whole time I've ever known this tractor. And it is, I think that is just absolutely spewing engine oil everywhere. I'm going to have a hard time kind of showing you guys the thing, you know, because surprise, surprise, it's a nightmare to take off. I'm going to have to pull that governor spring off to get access to the bolt behind it. I think I'm going to have to take the points cover off, which, see many, yeah. That guy, the ignition points are inside there. I think I'm going to have to take him off to get to the screw on the bottom corner, this corner. The other one isn't looking too fun either. It's just going to be not much fun at all. I was debating maybe not even worrying about it right now because the grass really needs mowed, but I know what'll happen. It'll go all year and this thing will be dropping oil everywhere and, you know, consequently getting dirt in the engine too, and it just won't be good for things, so I should just do it now. So anyway, I'm probably going to make a giant mess doing it too. I have a little low profile metal drain pan down there. Oh, hang on, this is worth it. That guy. If you yourself or perhaps an associate of yours is interested or into the shooting sports, that is an old, I guess it'd be considered half of a case of 7.62 by 5.4R Mosin Nagant ammunition box. So that's the tin that the ammunition comes in when you buy it in bulk. And I just cut the lid off nicely with my angle grinder and cleaned it up, and that thing has just been a mule for working on tractors and stuff because it's pretty big. I'd say it'd probably hold about a gallon, maybe a little more, but it's really low profile. It's probably only 4 or 5 inches tall. So there you go. If you're interested or a friend of yours is into the hobby, you know, hit them up. Say, hey, can I have that can when you're done with it? Well worth it. Okay, so the first thing I've got to do to address my problem here is paint the new cam cover. Cam cover dipstick combo deal. This is Kohler New Old Stock. I have no clue from what era, but pardon me, came in primer. So I'm going to wipe it down with DX330 PPG Acrylic Clean, which is paint prep cleaner, and then tape off the dipsticky bits I don't want taped, and then we're going to give it a coat of paint. First coat down. And I'll go ahead and wait for that to dry out nice overnight, and then we'll flip it over and put another coat on it. Yeah, it's black and it's shadowy in here, so I don't know how much you guys can see, but it's a tractor part, so if you're curious, that's what I'm using. Never used this stuff before. We'll see how it goes. So I lied. It's the same night. I'm going to put a second coat on it because I don't need to sleep. I got you guys to entertain. Got projects to do. You're my boy, Blue. We're still cool and all, but no more tonight. That actually wasn't so horrible. It's going to be a nightmare to reassemble, though. Getting those, particularly that one right by the points, which I don't even, yeah, you can just see the hole there now. It's going to be fun to get back in. Its buddy next door will be fun too, but not so bad. The top ones are no big deal. And I also, see if maybe that works better. Kind of got lucky here. It's a long story that I'll tell at some point, but at one point in the past, my buddy owned this tractor for about 2 months, and he had apparently taken this old cam cover off of it, and when he did, he cleaned up the gasket face pretty nice, and then he did my favorite trick, or one of my favorite tricks, the old gasket. Showing what a professional outfit we are here again. The old gasket is high-tacked to the cover, but he didn't high-tack it to the motor, and that's good for us in this case. Particularly as buried as this thing is while the motor's in the chassis, I'm not going to high-tack it to the motor either. But, you know, the reason why this thing was leaking is, you know, I don't know if I can even show you now. But yeah, this thing's loose. Yeah, there, I think there it goes. Anyway, never mind. I'm not positive this is my engine oil leak, but it is something that's wrong. And this dipstick has been screwed up since time began. I mean, you can actually see it's like thin in some places and bent up, and if I wipe the oil off of it, you'd probably see a spot where it was connecting with something in the motor or a motor at some point in time. So anyway, we're just going to put this new cam cover on because it needs it anyway, and we're going to pray that's our oil problem. So what I'm going to do is put some High-tack on the new cam cover, and then we're going to put some grease on the other side of it, on the motor side. So if it ever does have to come off again or whatever, we don't have to try and get way down in there and mess with stuff trying to clean it up, that we can just pull it. I got a feeling though, if this isn't the problem, the next thing to do is probably pull the motor. This motor's due for a rebuild anyway, but hopefully not this summer. Anyhow. Well, there it is. It wasn't the retirement project I feared it would be, but it wasn't fun either. I ended up just taking the points off. Well, off the tractor anyway. They're still wired. Just to get some better access on that front one. And took the air cleaner off just to make a little more room for my arm and stuff. But she's on there. Place your bets whether or not that's actually going to fix the oil leak. Thing was just dumping oil. So, I mean, even like the couple days it's just sat here, it's left plenty of drops. So, we'll see if that wasn't what was wrong, or leaking oil. It was certainly something that was wrong anyway. So, time to get the points and stuff back on it, and we're going to call it done at that point. Well, put oil back in it. Ocean Apple, she's ready to go. It's going to be a party in the USA tomorrow night. If your version of partying is mowing grass with a 45-year-old tractor, like you have pretty much every summer of your life so far, we just have to fire up Mr. Old School back here. The Charger that I believe is pretty much the exact same age as the tractor, based on the cars that are on it. Spoiler alert, that sweet K5 box body down there, we have a box body Chevy in the family too. And if you guys just stick it out for, a short 5 or 10 years, I'll finally get to a point where I can work on that truck. And it's a pretty cool truck. It's not a K5 Blazer though, unfortunately. But anyway, I think she's going to be good. We'll wheel the Jeep out of here tomorrow and slap the deck on it, grease it up, check the oil again, check for leaks again, and hopefully just be cutting some grass. So here's hoping. Almost forgot. Here's kind of a cool one for you older guys and probably you younger guys. Something I haven't seen in a long, long time. I'll get into this in more detail later, but this dipstick tube kit is new old stock. If you don't know what that means, it means they stopped making it a long, long time ago. And this has been sitting on a shelf brand new in, the back room of some tractor dealership or whatever. It looks like this was probably originally sold as a dipstick kit for an IR, probably gas-powered compressor or something. And I assume someone at some point, wrote this part number on it. Maybe the guy on eBay I bought it from. But what's cool is I think this is the original Kohler sticker, like the original inventory sticker from the original dealer. And I think it just barely shows up on camera that stuff's all handwritten. So I have no clue how old this is, but I remember, going to the parts store as a kid with my dad, and like all the parts would have tags on them like this, where there would be, some kind of corporate tag that was probably inventory control at Kohler when they made it. And then they slap a tag on when it got to the dealership for whatever the part number was on their shelf, so they knew, how to get it. Anyway, I haven't seen anything with a handwritten part number like this, and that's like, this PSO, PRA number or whatever is typed. That looks like it was typed with a real typewriter. I haven't seen anything like that in forever. So, just kind of a cool thing. Thought I'd show that one to you quick. I've discussed a little bit in the past why I like to use High-tack. I think that was like TBL 2 or 3, if you guys want to go back and check that out. But anyway, it is editing day, and I've had the tractor back together for maybe 5 or 6 weeks now. But when I High-tacked that gasket, I just did it here on this box. And the box has still got a little bit of stuff in it that I need to figure out what to do with. Because I think it goes maybe with that Ingersoll, maybe compressor or whatever. So I need to sort through this and see if any of it's good for the tractor or not. But anyway, this box has been sitting around for like 6 weeks, and this is why they call it high-tack. Listen. Let me get down there. I'm hoping that came through on video. It probably did. But this stuff, well, you can see me lifting the lid of the box. Yeah, I can open the box with my finger. That's why it's called high-tack. The stuff stays sticky forever. And when it does finally set up, it dries up, I would say kind of like hard. So it'll stay sticky forever. It'll stick to whatever you want for the most part. And then once it does cure, it just cures hard. So then you have to do kind of sand it off when you're done. But anyway, this stuff does not leak. That's why I really like to use this stuff. And it's cost effective. So anyway, thought I'd throw that one in there quick because I've never had a box sitting around for like a month and a half after I used this stuff. So thought I'd share.